Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg in Las Vegas. A Friday morning update. Hank, how are you tonight?
I'm happy. I'm enjoying the college basketball season. And thanks to Coach McCarthy, I got in early on the game last night and gave it 2.5. So off to a good start in this week's football season, football weekend. I took. There's a school in the Northeast Delaware that's pretty good. They helped me last night along with Ohio State. That was good. And Gonzaga is consistent. So I had a nice college basketball night again. So life is good.
Yeah, we got a big card today. And college hoops. Got a couple college college football games. Got the whole weekend is just amazing. I don't believe there's any horses that are big this weekend, are there?
They're running at Aqueduct, and but I don't know if they're running or not. They had a snowstorm in New York, and they're running at the second, the wet track for Gulfstream, which used to be Calder, and they're at Del Mar, so nothing exciting.
Okay. Anything in pro college basketball or football that you want to, any topics that you want to hit on?
I think, Schrager helped us again. He said that Rogers would put the team on his back and Green Bay would win the rest of their games. So again, I went the other way. He's like an annuity. Anyway.
Well, that's a great line.
And so today, I think he likes Tennessee this weekend, going up against.
There's a bit, against the Colts. There's been a big movement in that direction for sure. Game was 3, it's down to 1 or 2. It's I can see Tennessee they played well the last 2 games, but the Colts have been very tough, and Andrew Luck is playing very well. That seems like a very cheap price for them at home.
Well, they played a very weak schedule, that's the deal, and Tennessee has played a very tough schedule. So Tennessee is really coming down. In terms of scheduling, this is, the Colts are going way up from what they've been playing against. So we'll see what happens in that game. It's not a game that particularly excites me. The big games this weekend, of course, are the Rams and Kansas City. That's a great matchup, and the Philadelphia New Orleans game, which is a little bit of a high number, that's a big game, and Dallas got a big game again this week. So there's some very good strong matchups, and the Atlanta game, which. A lot of people have mixed feelings about. But Atlanta's home. And and Carolina, will they bounce back after a dismal performance last week? They're at Detroit. This is a game where if Carolina is worth anything, they should win easily there.
A couple of weeks ago when Detroit traded away Tate, a lot of people said when you look at something like that, what kind of effect does it have on the clubhouse and the rest of the players? Are they just saying, hey, the heck with this season, we'll move on? And they haven't played very well since, or even before. It's strange that they made that trade. I don't think anybody really understood it.
I'm told that the Denver players are very unhappy because they thought their coach was going to get fired during the bye week, and he's still there. And they go down to or over to L.A. to play the Chargers. And you've got Rivers is very hot right now, and Joey Bosa looks like he's coming back to play. He's going to play a little bit this week. He asked about him on Wednesday, and he's been practicing since.
That's a huge plus if he gets back into shape and can play. Hell of a player. That's a very good team. If you talk about Denver, I don't know. It just seems like all the problems start with John Elway. He makes these choices of quarterbacks and coaches, and yeah, you can keep getting rid of everybody, but he's the guy that's directing the ship. He's the captain of the ship.
Well, he was also the captain of the ship when they won the Super Bowl, so they're going to be more patient with him. And that choice of Joseph was a bad one as head coach. And it's interesting, some of the people who picked these games are saying, well, they covered their last two road games. They lost their last two road games, one by 45 points, and they lost the other by 7. And this is a 7-point number. And they're a lousy road team, plain and simple.
The big issue with the Chargers and where they're playing, and you could say this a little bit about the Rams too. They don't seem to be getting the home field advantage that other teams do. I mean, even the Rams game the other day, it seemed like half the stadium was for the other team, and the Chargers are even worse. They've only been there a couple years. They're playing in a bandbox. Yeah, they're a really good team, but as far as home field advantage, it's not very great.
I don't think that's as true with the Rams. I think the Rams, because they're winning, are developing a following in that town right now, and they're one of the top 3 teams in the league. They don't cover very often, but they do keep winning, except for the one game. So, but they're getting better turnouts. They're getting more and more of a following there. But the Raiders don't have any following to speak of upstate anymore, and they're just a disaster. And the Chargers don't have a real home. They're playing in a temporary facility for them, and there's still big life, big following down in Southern California, but not but further south than where they're playing.
Right. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're missing quite a few corners. I guess all of their corners are hurt. Going up against the hottest team in football, the Saints, which many will argue is the best team in football. And at this point, they're probably right. But how the hell are they going to defend them?
Well, they've got a pretty good front seven. That's part of it. They'll put pressure on the passer. They've got that going for them. And, offensively, their quarterback is going to be on the money somewhat. So I think, but defensively, Schwartz is a very good coach. The big issue with the Saints right now is stopping those 2 running backs, which is not an issue with their corners. So the strength of their defense goes up against the strength of Saints offense right now.
Right, exactly. And I'm sure everybody in the country is going to be tuning in to watch the Oakland-Arizona game, which is they've got a 1-8 team against a 2-7 team. And the 2-7 team is at home and they're a 5.5-point favorite. I think that tells you a lot about how bad Oakland looks.
Well, Arizona's defense is pretty good, believe it or not. And, they just haven't been able to do much offensively. And they've, Oakland's not even worth talking about.
No, they're really been a mess. But college basketball, we're going to have a lot of good games this weekend. There's a lot of other great players in college hoops other than Zion Williamson, who is absolutely amazing. And of course, the NBA is always interesting. You don't know who's going to play from night to night because everybody seems to need to rest, which is quite interesting. But
I was at Coach K's favorite restaurant here in Las Vegas Wednesday night, and I asked the people there if he said anything before he left for the season. And because you ask Coach K about his teams, he usually won't say anything. And they said, well, this time he kind of opened up. And we asked him how the team was going to be, and he said, we'll be okay. That's a huge statement coming from Coach K. So,
yeah, he doesn't say much.
And they're loaded. I mean, they're stomping over everybody right now. There's some good games, I think, this weekend, basketball-wise. And Saturday, let's see, Michigan. I'll tell you, Michigan is good. They're loaded this year. And South Carolina Providence is a good matchup. There's some decent games to look at. There's a couple of tournaments going on right now. The 2K Classic in Madison Square Garden. You got Syracuse in there. You got Iowa out of the Big Ten. Syracuse got a very good team. Butler is playing tonight. They're good. Kansas is in action. They'll win. All these teams win big right now against the interior competition they're playing.
Yeah, they can run up scores if they choose to. That's for sure, because there's no competition. But there's some good money-making opportunities also. The lesser ranked teams can be very profitable if you do your homework and stay on top of them, which we do.
Like Delaware.
I like Delaware, yes. Definitely like Delaware. There's little teams that'll sneak up and do a pretty good job for you, like the little Towsons of the world. And these guys can play, and they play hard. They're not the same talent level as the big guys, but they can get the job done for you. And that's what makes the season interesting. If it was just all the big top 20 teams, yeah, they're big guys and they're really good, and a lot of them be playing in the pros. But you got to remember, players like Steph Curry didn't come from one of those big programs. A lot of these little schools produce some big, great players that end up playing in the pros that are pretty damn good.
Well, Davidson has always had good programs where Steph Curry came from. But I'll tell you something about Auburn. I wanted to get down on Auburn yesterday, and they wouldn't take them, and they won by 50 points.
Yeah, they probably got too much money on it and said, nope, we're not giving away any more money. Wow. Well, Hank, we're going to both have full cards of basketball and football all weekend long. And you can go to jimfeist.com, pick up those plays, and next week pick up your money, because we're going to win. Anything you want to say in closing, Hank?
No, off to a good start. Starting last weekend, I think this is the time when the good teams separate themselves in the NFL, and this is always a good time for me in the NFL. So I had a very good Sunday. I had Monday night game, Thursday night game, so maybe maybe I'm hot right now.
Well, hot, Hank, you've been hot for a couple of years, except for a blip here or there. So yes, go to jimfeist.com for Hank's plays and mine. And thank you, Hank. I appreciate it.
Okay, take care, Jim.